In my bed, I can't sleep cause I'm woke. People like me play fair, stay true to my word cause I'm gold. People like me square up, fuck guns, run ones, run up. People like me. We just don't give a fuck, don't give a fuck, don't give a fuck at all. We just don't give a fuck, yeah. Don't give a fuck, what? Don't give a fuck at all. Hey, I'm a savvy dude, I never...
Okay. Necromancy. That's the topic of this video, I suggest. And that's something I'm really passionate about, and that's what I like. So it's gonna be my second video, okay? What is it? Well, most people can agree or have agreed that it's a divination, a way to communicate, a way to having a source of external intuition rather than having internal intuition, unless invoked by spirit, to have an internal invocation. Basically, it's a supplement for I'm talking about the current definition of necromancy rather than my belief of necromancy, if that makes sense. I don't believe it's just a divination. Therefore, it's not. Because as a creator, I can change it, I can grow it, I expand it, I can contract it, I can collapse it. So we're going to talk about the seed of it, the most popular perception of necromancy. Well, it's a divination, communicating with spirits, blah blah blah. But to me, it's more than that. The reason I say blah 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 is because everything that comes after communication with the spirit is irrelevant. That's the shortest definition. Everything that comes after that, any words or any phrases, is just adjectives, add-ons, useless chatter. So let's keep it directly to the point, because that's what the soul is, the point. Everything else is just useless chatter, right? Frequencies that are extra because your soul is the main instrument of the band. So my definition would be the communication with the soul rather than spirit. Spirit to me is more of an or, the external, while the soul is internal. So it's the ability to tap into something and pull that something outwards. It's extraction. It's the extraction of the soul. Almost everything in this world, in my perception of it, based on my philosophy, is necromancy. Everything. Everything. To how nature works, to how a human being processes their minds. Your memory, you can only hold your memory so long before it dies, but then you remember, so you have to bring it back to life. That would be some type of intangible reanimation. Being able to remember is intangible reanimation or revival, whatever you want to call it, to bring it from a place that's supposedly like a dead world back into a conscious world, just like that easy. Sometimes people can't remember, so that soul is dead until that soul can find its way back to a body. How you wanted to say it wouldn't have been how you would have said it at first. When you remember, when you wanted to say it, is not how you wanted to say it. No, let me rephrase that. When you wanted to say it, that's how you wanted to say it. But by the time that you remember it, it comes out different. when you communicate it. It's like a soul finding a new body rather than jumping back inside its old body. It's like some type of reincarnation. Pay attention to the words I use because these are kind of the elements of necromancy. This is what makes necromancy in my perception. Being able to maneuver. Like I said, I'm a man of action rather than a man of words. So you can have all your toys on your altar or whatever, but that's not really what necromancy is. Not having a bunch of gadgets and trinkets on an altar. It's nice, it's a visual appeal, but the spirits don't give a fuck about how you look. Really, they don't. They don't give a fuck how your altar look. They just care if you can hear them, like regular people, because this flesh is driven by the soul. So your soul is still your soul outside of the body, or without the body, I should say. You get in your car, you get out your car. You're the same person in your car as if you would have got out your car. Well, this body is the car. Wear and tear over time as you age. It's just wear and tear to your car. We are a vehicle moving. So this is the perception I have as a necro sage. But you won't hear too many necromancers say this type of information to you. That's what makes a mancer and a sage different. A mancer is a studier. A sage is the master. You have it's levels to it. It's a hierarchy of it. I made up the word necro sage. I thought it was pretty cool, but I'm gonna turn it into a thing. It should be a thing. A sage is genderless as I. So I hate when people, especially females, because I see them do it mostly, turning something that's genderless into something that's feminine, or something that's unisex into something that's feminine. That's division, and that's something that dwindles rather than amplifies. Stop separating things. Okay? Our souls is attached to our bodies, and it functions as it is in unity. Okay? As a human being, or whatever you want to call yourself, in this flesh is made out of man and woman. So how can you hate either or? And this is the main point of necromancy. Life and death. Okay? Life and death. Who's the creator of life and who's the creator of death? They're both creators. They just got different places, like the left and right hand. If I move my left finger, what side of my brain is moving my left finger? If I move my right finger, what side of my brain is using my right finger? It's always crisscross. That's what the double helix means. I mean, some people know what the double helix means in a variety of sense, as a concept rather than a single event. Some people will, oh my gosh, you talking about DNA. I could be talking about DNA. I could be talking about the serpent and staff. I could be talking about the yin and yang. But they're all the same shit. They just got different adjectives to it. So life and death really is the same thing. It's like the front of a page to the back of a page. But it's still the same page. Heads or tails, but it's the same coin. I say this as a necro sage that functions on a frequency that I've made for myself. I haven't found this frequency. I didn't stumble across this frequency. It was a frequency that originally started as a seed. I started building upon. I started expanding. I started to implement. I started to step outside of my old thought process, my old frequencies, my old realm of reality. I started exploring death as a young individual. When I was young, I started exploring death. So But I always questioned life. When I was exploring death, I always questioned life. So I always had a sense of balance already. But once I understood a little bit more about death, and I started to get some answers from life. So you know what? What happens if I'm different from both of those? If I just step away from life and death? Who am I beyond life, beyond death? Beyond any definition out there. All the definitions to anything possible. All the functions out there. How can I be different in my own world, in my own realm of reality? How can I create my own world from scratch, or the bare minimum? And this is what expands my mind. This is why, as a necro sage who practices necromancy, but I'm thinking about making a new word for the type of elevation, because after a while, it's no longer divination. And people seem to agree on the basic definition of necromancy. So let me get back to that topic, necromancy, rather than the elevated, the grandparent form of necromancy. Let's talk about the baby, which most people came to see the video of someone talking about necromancy. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not evil, it's not fucking holy or saint-like. It's not demonic, it doesn't have a religion, because life and death existed before any language existed. Language itself is a trick or a trap. Anything that you say out your mouth is to trick someone. Anything that comes out your mouth is to trap someone. People who talk a lot, they're trying to trick you, or they're trying to trap you. So they're trying to lock an image or something inside your head, unless they're trying to lock you in a feeling, or they're trying to lock you into something or trick you somewhere to extract something from you. Me, I'm trying to instill, teach, I guess you can say. But it's still a trap no matter what, because when I enchant your mind with my vocals, my frequency, you can keep thinking about it if you want, if you don't know how to free yourself. Okay? So necromancy, we're gonna minus the good and bad, the duality part, and see it for the whole itself, or at least the middle ground. Then we're gonna get to the good parts and the bad parts. Necromancy is a form of transcending, period. It is a metamorphosis, period. Transformation, period. A mutation, period. Everything inside of necromancy changes. It's alchemy of life and death. The being in life or death, rather than alchemy being outside of life and death and changing or forming life and death. If you have, it's basically like pottery. We're gonna say pottery, right? Alchemy would be your hands rubbing the outside of the sculpture. Necromancy would be rubbing inside of the sculpture. Okay. Herbalism would be all the lines, the details, the lines. Okay. You start drawing lines in the clay, whatever. That's what I picture pottery as clay formation. So that's gonna be my example in case you get lost or have gotten lost. You know what I'm saying? So necromancy is forming the inside, being inside of, and sculpture and expanding outwards or contracting inwards. Death is a contraction inwards, while life is an expansion outwards. When you're dead, it's like you retract inside yourself. Your spirit touches your soul and they meet. When you're living, you're either functioning by your spirit or by your soul, but that's your choice. Some people have lost their soul but have high spirits or a very driven spirit. So now they gotta go soul searching and meet them. And when they meet their soul again, they die. So anything that you work with in necromancy will always have duality, polarity, but not really. If it makes sense, it's two-dimensional. By default, it's two-dimensional. Let's say it like that. But it's more dimensions to it. And that's what I'm telling you about necrosage. The basic form is two sides of it. When you go, that's as a whole. This is looking at it from a whole point of view. Okay, it's like a pizza. You cut down the middle. But as the middle ground, it's only a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. That's the basic explanation of the middle ground. Cutting it straight down the middle, it's a lifestyle. It's an understanding. It's a point of being. It's something that you can apply. Something you can do as a practical nature. Now, is the good part about it is perceptions run it all. I have too much space. Okay. So I'm trying to make this quick. Perceptions run it all. So depending on what type of person you are, it's what type of necromancy you produce. A negative person looks at the world negatively. So anything they speak out their mouth based on what they see will always be negative. Because that's the soul they carry. For them to think, for them to speak, for them to act on what they speak or what they think or how they feel. A positive person, no matter what the fuck it is, they don't see no evil. They don't have to deal with no evil. They don't express no evil. They don't carry no evil. So the fruits of their labors will be no evil. But on a bad term of it, we have a lot of evil people in this world to perceive necromancy as evil. They use it, or you hear a lot of people saying necromancy is a dark art, and yeah, we're fucking Satanists and all this demon shit, and all this big dumb wild shit, all these goddesses, and it's draining. It's because they work with the negative spirits. In necromancy, you don't have to feel drained. You don't have to feel sickness. You don't have to feel none of that. You can feel empowered. Working with a warrior soul or a positive spirit will make you feel like you're the best fucking thing on this planet. You can probably be fucking depressed before you pick up necromancy or start living necromancy. The spirits you work with can make you immortal, or they can make you fucking die so quick. This is the bad part of necromancy. Finding the spirits to work with and what the fuck it is you want from it and how you want to do it. The planning part of necromancy, the planning part of dealing with something that you can't see, but it's real, but you have to make plans with something you can't communicate like you normally would. So now you have to see, you're forced to see the world through different eyes. Now you're forced to be possessed by something that you think and fucking pray and hope is good, rather than be logical and make sure. But even souls lie. That's why a lot of them get condemned or punished, trapped. With a trapped spirit, you need to be wary. They might try to do good, but they're mostly something that has gotten themselves trapped. Let's put it like that. I don't want to put too many labels on anything. It's like being a changed person, but you committed a crime and got locked in jail for life. It's okay. You've already changed, but it hasn't been enough change to where you redeemed yourself to gain your freedom. Because you still have some bad habits. Okay? When you got some bad habits, it seems like no matter what amount of good you do, it doesn't matter. I mean, look at people around here every day. How do we know if we're alive or if we're dead? How do we know this? A definition is somebody telling us that. A definition is a law. Definitions. This is why I don't like labels, because every label has a definition to it, a category. This category are the laws of what's being labeled. This is forcing a purpose on something, forcing a perception on something. It's trapping something into an understanding for practicality. So now you're going to use it or deal with it or see it or feel for it based on the definition of it, rather than the experience and the fruits of its labor. What has it created? Rather than what people have created for it. If that makes sense. That's the bad part about necromancy. Necromancy to me is me. It's who I am. I am necromancy. I am the embodiment, the incarnate of a collective identity stemming from the higher forms of necromancy. Even though I'm not the completed version of necromancy, I am the perfect version of the branch of necromancy, if that makes sense. The word I have to create for necromancy would be a higher up type canopy of necromancy. And the necromancy that everyone knows it would be the trunk of the tree. And all the elements of the necromancy are the roots of the tree. Okay? This is for people who like to study the tree of life and the tree of death and stuff like that. Well, the elements of necromancy are the roots. The word necromancy is the trunk. It's the thing that holds the roots and the canopy together, the middle ground, the common ground. I'm gonna make more videos on necromancy. This is just a what is necromancy video. I just felt like communicating a little bit to you souls out there living in bodies. And shout out to you souls still able to keep your vessel or jars, your jars closed. Your soul is intangible. It's not a solid. This is what people call astral projection. To be able to concentrate your soul. Because your soul is all over your body. It's inside your body. To put your soul inside of your spirit and function outside of your body. That's actual projection. Giving your fucking spirit a heart and a fucking mind is astral projection. How the fuck do you do that? It's another video. I might build my channel around necromancy just for those who are curious to learn this shit. Curious to hear someone else's perception of this. I did a lot of searching on YouTube and Google and all this good stuff on necromancy just to see if I can find people who can give me something different. A perception that isn't a copy and paste of someone else's. So I couldn't find too many of them. I found a couple. But even still, they wasn't touching bases. It was on the things that could have been or are or hidden. There's a lot of things necromancy will keep hidden because it is an occult practice. It's not for everybody. It's acquired taste. But that's based on social taboos rather than what it is. Every book of religion out there has a zombie in it. Every last book has some type of zombie in it. And that's religion. Okay? This is how serious it is. It's real. Just like chaos, magic, alchemy, herbalism. Necromancy is a real practice rather than a belief. The belief is just something that can help drive you, help guide you like a GPS. That's all it is. But you doing it, you living it. So you driving. So where do you want to go? Your belief is based on somebody else's image or final destination of where the fuck they want to take you to. Don't get lost. That's the realest shit I can say for a necromancer or somebody who want to study necromancy. Do not get lost. And it's easy to get lost. And when people know that you're lost, they're not going to help you. They might just take advantage of you. Just because they know you're in dangerous fucking water. You don't know what the fuck to do. Necromancy is a black and purple water. I'ma say this. Necrosage. I haven't found a word for it yet, so that's why I'm calling it necrosage. But necrosage is the practitioner of the higher necromancy. Necrosage is me rather than it. So I have to come up with a word for it. That shit is black and purple water. Okay? Necromancy would be gray water. Because It's a blend, right? It's necromancy, the way they have it in this world today, is a less dense version of what it could be. It's a watered down version of what it could be. So if you look at necromancy like a color, and the definitions of it are the dilution. How concentrated is the definition of the definition? how concentrated is the definition of necromancy? It's gray. It's water. It's closer to the third dimensional realm rather than the higher realms. Let's put it like that. It's closer to the third dimensional understanding and thought process and feeling rather than what it should be, which is direct connection to higher